Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Nova Safari. So the Safari line of ships are all designed for you to go ahead and take a hunting trip off on some far distant world. So whether it's terrormorphs or just those invisible creatures that can only be seen through the thermal imaging somehow, um, we're looking for something that you can go out and find strange new beasties that you haven't seen before and shoot them. So for this, we need to go ahead and have a ship that can take a small party. I've decided to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and keep with 4 people minimum. And we want to take them out to some distant world. And we want to be able to have an armory to store our weapons, and an infirmary to go ahead and heal us up in case we got into any trouble with, whatever strange beastie it was we decided to hunt. So this particular ship is the Nova Safari. It is built entirely out of Nova Galactic parts from the Nova Galactic people here on New Homestead. And now that we've kind of looked at it a little bit, let's go ahead and do an interior tour. So as we get into ships that are using an armory, one of the things that I like doing is having the armory be one of the first things that you get to when you go into the ship. So you can see here is our landing access. Directly above us is our docker, and we are entering into the 2x1 armory. For the Nova Galactic Armory, we can see there's kind of a little bit of space here and then some more stuff over here. But this area here is basically the entirety of the armory. Coming forward, we do have some windows to look out the sides. There are also a pair of mannequins that you can go ahead and put some armor on if you wanted. Through this door here, we can see our cockpit. Coming straight back, we have our infirmary. So if you do get injured and you need to see the ship doctor, it is right there, but we can still close the door so that way if you're screaming in pain, nobody has to hear you. All right, then we have 2 cross passages. Let's go through this one first. This one is going to lead us into the Nova Galactic 2x1 all-in-one berth B. This one has a bathroom located right here, 3 beds, small table that can seat 3, and some lockers to go ahead and store your stuff in. We do have a toaster over here, but that is the extent of the galley in this particular hab. Walking on over to the other side, we enter into the Nova Galactic 2x1 all-in-one A. This is basically the Frontier hab. However, because of where we went ahead and put this cross passage, the research station that would be located right here is not there. There is 1 bed located right here. I kind of consider this to be more or less the captain's cabin. There is a galley located right here. This is the only galley on the ship. There's a nice little table here that will seat 4, so this is probably where everybody goes ahead and takes some meals. We have a navigation console right here, some storage space and otherwise empty space, and then bathroom located right here. So we've got 4 beds and 2 baths on the ship. So now that we've done the interior tour, let's go ahead and take a look at how to build it. And if we come on over to this dude right here,
Need some work done? Sure. How about it?
we get access to all of the Nova Galactic parts. So before I start building, I am going to go ahead and get my colors off of this. I'm just putting them into my palette so that way I can easily redo them later. can see I did a green primary color with kind of a darkish blue secondary, and then a red accent here. So now that I've got my colors, let's go ahead and select all and then delete. All right, so as I like doing, first things first, let's go ahead and grab our hab and then, or landing bay, and then let's grab all of our habs. So this ship is basically four 2x1s and then two cross braces. So let's go ahead. Want to grab the armory. Then immediately behind, we are going to go ahead and grab the infirmary. Off this side here, we are going to grab cross passage number 1. Off this side, we're going to grab cross passage number 2. Now, the reason I'm using cross passages on this ship is basically just to control where I have doors. If I was running the place doors yourself mod, I would probably get rid of the cross passages and then just bring the all-in-one berths directly into the side. However, if you try and do that without the place doors yourself mod, you're likely to get something silly like, okay, you have to go through the door here, then come out the door here to the infirmary to get to the door here to the all-in-one berth, or, vice versa. And that just goes against what I really want the ship to do. Alright, on the front of this, I'm now going to go ahead and grab the cockpits. Now, for this ship, I use the Magellan C2X. However, if you prefer, you can use the Magellan C1X. The C2 and the C1 are basically the same thing, just slightly less cargo for reasons. Now with the C2X, I am going to be clipping in a little bit above the up here. This is not visible from inside the ship. However, if you don't like that clipping, you could go ahead and run the C1 instead in its place. Then, right here, I'm going to go ahead and grab my docker. And that is all of the pieces for the habitable portions of the ship. So, now that I have done that, let me come on over here, and I'm going to now add my gear. So for this ship, I'm using 2 NG-15 landing gear, and I've got that connected to the outer berths. You could just as easily connect it to the inner piece. It makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. I am not using this inner connector portion right here. Next up, I am going to go ahead and come on over to the structural components and start adding my Nova cowlings. I only have a few of these. See? Just 5. Not too many. Then, since I'm looking at it, let's go ahead and just add some windows. And then on this side, I do not want to put a window here because that would remove the bed on this side and leave this whole hab without basically any use other than having the galley. However, on this side, I do not want to put the window here because that is going to remove one of the beds that we want. Alright, now coming to the underside of the ship, I'm going to go ahead and select the Nova cowling, copy it to the rear variation, select both of these, put them over here. Ta-da! Then I'm going to repeat over here. Now I'm going to place this right here. Alright. Continuing with my structural components. Now here, I don't like the fact that these are basically hanging off right here. Ideally, I would go ahead and put, like, say, a Dymo's hull or a Stroud cap in right here just to kind of fill out the space. But since this is built using entirely Nova parts, I cannot do so. So instead, what I have to do is I have to go ahead and grab the cowling. And for what you saw, I put this right here, like this. Now, that being said, I could, since I'm not making use of this connection point here, I could also go ahead and just use this variant here. And it's just which way you like the look of more. So, as for what's going here, on this particular ship, I have 4 of the Airman 3 engines. Located here, 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 and here. So now that those are in place, you can go ahead and make the decision of, do you like this look more or this look more? And just whichever you choose, go with it. To match what I had initially created, I am putting it on this variant though. Now, underneath of this, I'm going to go ahead and put my fuel tanks. On this particular ship, I use 2 M20 Ulysses fuel tanks located right under here. I could also go ahead and put some like the M30 on the side right here. Um, However, that is going to clip slightly into the landing gear. Alternatively, I could have that located on the reactor and grav drive, which I haven't put on the ship yet. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put those on. So for this particular ship, I did use the 360T Stellarator, but you could also use the 134mm. They are basically identical. And it doesn't really matter which one you put in which slot. Directly behind that, let's go to the grav drives, and I use the Helios 300. You can place that here, or you can place that right here, whichever way you want. And then for cargo, I have the 100 cm ballast cargo hold, and this is just hitched in right here. So if you would prefer the grav drive located here, you can basically just swap these two components however you would like. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my weapons. So on this ship, I was using 4 Disruptor 3300A auto electron beams, and then 4 PBO-30 auto electron beams. As you can see, I only have a few weapon option hardpoints to choose from, so, I'm going to have to be really picky about where I put them. That was a joke in case it did not come through properly. So for this particular ship, you will notice that I'm spending 44,000 credits or so on these weapons. This is probably somewhere around half the price of the ship. So be aware. Oh, that's what I was doing wrong. This is not this one. I used this one. And this is where I had that slight amount of clipping. As you can see, it does not go into any habitable areas. I am missing my shield and my weapon assignments, so just stick those wherever I want. And then the last thing I need is that shield. So for this ship, I did go ahead and just hide the shield right here. And I used the 30S protector shield generator. You could use whatever shield generator you wanted, and you can hide that or not hide that wherever you want. And that is the ship. So all I've got left to do is stick those colors back on. And now let's go ahead and exit the builder and take it out to get a few pictures. Yeah. Well, put your shotgun away. And it looks like our spot where we come out is going to be in the shadow for some reason. So let's go ahead and just fly on over here to Mercury and see if we can get a better spot for some pictures. Hmm. I like getting a nice top shot with the sun shining on it. And there we go. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.